Today I'm going to be reviewing the Sony FDR-AX53 4K video camera. I've been using this video camera for about a year now. All of my YouTube videos are shot from this camcorder. This is a very good 4K camcorder for the money, probably the best 4K camcorder for the money. I also have the older model, the AX33, and I'll do a comparison between the two camcorders. So the first part of the video is going to be the review of the AX53, and the second part of the video is the side-by-side comparison between the two camcorders. I'll also post some video samples of both camcorders so you can see the difference. First, let's take a look at the AX53 camcorder. The first thing that strikes you is probably the battery pack. It came with a very small battery pack and it didn't last very long. So I went ahead and purchased an extended capacity battery pack, and it lasts a lot longer. This one lasts about 4 hours versus the original battery that only lasts a little bit over an hour. It comes with a charger, but you have to plug in the charging port on the bottom of the camcorder. That's very inconvenient because if the battery runs out, I'd have to stop shooting and start looking for a power outlet to plug it in. That's why I have to buy a separate charger so that I can charge the battery out of the camcorder. That way I can swap in a new battery if the first one runs out. On the front, we have a lens that moves with you so that it can stabilize the image. This works like a gimbal except that it's inside the camera. It's very unique for Sony and you don't see this very often in other brands. Inside also has a 5-axis stabilization system, and the quality of the stabilization system is very good. On the bottom we've got a tripod mount, but it's all the way to the front. It's already very unbalanced the way it is. And adding a heavy battery pack on the back only makes it worse. I don't know what Sony is thinking when putting the tripod mount all the way to the front. On the side of the camera, we've got a USB connector and a 3.5mm microphone input port. The USB cable can be used both to transfer data and to charge the battery as well, even though it's going to be a very slow charge. In the previous model, Sony put a USB cable right on the strap. In this model, there's no longer a USB cable on the strap. You have to use a separate USB cable to transfer data or to charge the camcorder. I find that very inconvenient because I don't always have a USB cable with me. For the microphone input port, it's very useful because I always use this microphone input port to connect to the external microphone. The quality of the internal microphone is not very good. If you want to monitor the audio input, you can also use the earphone port on the front of the camcorder. On the other side, we've got a manual button and a manual ring where you can use to manually control zoom, focus, exposure, iris, shutter speed, and white balance. But once you put it into manual, the intelligent auto will be off. That means the stabilization option will also be off. If you don't use a tripod, your video will be shaky if you zoom in too much. The flip-out LCD screen is very nice. It's a touch-sensitive screen, so you can control using this touch screen. There's a record button, zoom in and zoom out, so you can also control right on the screen. Moving on to the panel behind the screen, we've got a single SD card slot. This can also accommodate a Sony stick memory slot, but I don't think we use those anymore. A 64GB memory card can record up to 2 hours of 4K video, 2.5 hours of XAVCS video, and 8 hours on a standard 1080p resolution. There's a micro HDMI port down here. On the top here, we've got a voice cancelling button. This is to cancel out the voice while recording video. I've never used this feature and I don't think it's very useful. We got a play button here, and over here we got a night shot button. This is for shooting in the dark. When you press on this button, the infrared light on the front will turn on, allowing the camera to see in the dark. The problem with this is the infrared light is tiny, so you can only see things that are very close and right in front of the camcorder. But I suppose it's still a lot better than not being able to see anything in the dark. Moving on to the top of the camcorder, we've got a photo button for taking photos. However, because this is a camcorder, it's designed for taking videos and not photos. When you press on the photo button to record a picture, it takes about half an hour to finish taking a picture. And the picture quality is not very good either. Over here we got an electronic viewfinder. I find this very useful during the time where I have to record videos in the sun. It is impossible to see anything with a flip-out screen, and having a viewfinder like this is extremely useful for shooting outdoor videos.
The United States Army Parachute Team, the Golden Knights, would like to introduce our first smoke chain of the 2018 air show season. In honor of 100 years of military and the Marine Corps, we are jumping a massive smoke chain over 30 feet. With the Marine Corps colors, ladies and gentlemen, it takes an amazing amount of discipline, practice, and this dangerous maneuver to bring it over this tight area landing. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for the United States Army Parachute Team.
Up here we got a Sony hot shoe mount that allows you to mount accessories on the camcorder. I use this to mount external microphone. You can see I have a little clip here on top of the camcorder. I have a small clip-on microphone so that I can clip it on the top here when I need to use a smaller external microphone, because my other external microphone is too big and it's not very portable. I use this a lot when I travel. It's small, portable, and convenient to carry around easily. This camcorder allows you to record videos in 3 different resolutions: 4K, XAVCS, and AVCHD. I want to just go over this briefly without getting too technical, as it's going to get too boring. The 4K quality is amazing, but it takes too much space. Therefore, it takes very long time to edit and upload. It's not very practical at this time, so I don't use it much, except for very important events like wedding or funeral. The resolution often used is the XAVCS. It has a smaller size than 4K, so it's fast to copy, edit, and upload. This camcorder also has an option to be remotely controlled wirelessly with a smartphone. It also has an option to record time-lapse videos. You can also record slow motion videos at 120 frames per second. So this camcorder can take up to 128GB SD card. What I have here is the Samsung Evo Select 128GB micro SD card, and I have it with my SD card adapter here. It is a class 10 card and U3, so it's designed for 4K videos. So make sure that your card is class 10 U3, otherwise it'll be too slow to record 4K. Okay, I haven't tried 256 gigabyte yet, but it works fine with my 128 gigabyte card. So over here we got, let's see, so I've got it in 4K recording now, and with 4K I've got up to 4 hours 27 minutes, so almost 4.5 hours for 4K video. And if I choose the other resolution, which is AVCS, this will give me about 5.5 hours of recording. Next, I want to talk about the problem with overheating. Sony cameras are notorious for getting overheated when you film in 4K resolution. If you're shopping for a camera, I'm sure you probably looked at the Sony RX100 series, the Sony Alpha A6300 and A6500 mirrorless cameras, and last but not least, the Sony Alpha A7 Mark III. All of these cameras have overheating issues when you record 4K videos, which is a big deal because if you're filming a wedding and your camera is overheated, people are not going to wait for your camera to cool down. Life goes on whether or not you are in heat. And that's gonna ruin your day if you don't have a backup camera to film the wedding. So this overheating problem might be a deal breaker for somebody. I've been using this particular camcorder, the AX53, for 12 months, and I've been using it a lot. You can tell from the amount of YouTube videos I've been posting. So within the 12 months I've got it overheated 3 times. And it was in the summer when I recorded the video outside in the sun. And because the body of the camera is black, just sitting there in the sun alone is enough to heat it up. So it's actually overheated due to being exposed in the sun. Other than that, I've never had any overheating problem. In fact, I've just recorded a wedding for over 2 hours straight in 4K resolution and no overheating problem whatsoever. So for this camcorder, when it's being overheated, it will just shut down. There's a red LED right here next to the SD card, and it will blink 7 times. The camcorder will not turn back on until it's cooled down enough, and that might take up to half an hour, depends on the ambient temperature. So what I do is I just use a fan or just use a piece of paper, cardboard like this, and just fan it for about 5 minutes. That should be enough, and then it still won't turn on. But what I do is I just remove the battery and then put the battery back in, and then it will turn back on. I think it should be cool enough if you fan it for 5 minutes, but the camera protection system will not turn it back on if you don't remove the battery. And then after I put the battery back in, and I continue filming as usual. And because the overheating problem only occurs when this camcorder is exposed in the sun, so what I do to prevent it from overheating is just to find a shady place or just shade the camera and protect it from direct sunlight exposure, and it should be fine. Now let's do a comparison between the AX53 and the AX33. If you're thinking about buying one of these and not sure about which one to buy, the difference right now is only $100. Is it worth the upgrade? Let's find out. On the left is the AX33, and on the right we got the AX53. Both cameras can record 4K videos, and it's the same with the other video options. The difference here is the sensor size. The AX53 has a bigger sensor, so it will give you a better quality video than the AX33. The AX53 has a 20x optical zoom lens, whereas the AX33 only has 10x zoom. The AX53 can shoot time-lapse videos, whereas the AX33 does not have time-lapse option. So if you shoot a lot of time-lapse videos, this is the deal breaker for the AX33. The AX53 is a little bit bigger and heavier than the AX33, but it's not too much. They still look pretty much identical. The only advantage of the AX33, in my opinion, is the USB cable right on the camcorder. This will allow you to quickly connect to a computer to transfer video files or to charge the battery. There's no USB cable on the AX53, so if you happen to forget to bring a USB cable, it'll be a big problem. The AX53 is a little bit more energy efficient than the AX33. So with the same battery I have right here, the AX53 can run half an hour longer than the AX33. Another difference between the two camcorders is the touch screen. The screen on the AX33 is a resistive touch screen, whereas the AX53 has the capacitive touch screen. What that means is on the AX33, you have to physically push on the screen and apply enough pressure before it can register. Whereas on the AX53, you just need to touch it slightly and it is a lot more responsive. So besides the differences I mentioned earlier, the two camcorders are identical. Is it worth the upgrade? Absolutely. This even makes more sense now when the price difference between the two camcorders is only $100. I think the choice is very clear. Sony also makes high-end model 4K camcorder similar to these two camcorders, and that is the AX100 camcorder. However, the 4K video quality on the AX100 camcorder is not very good. It's not very smooth. It's like very jittery, especially when you record fast-moving objects. The movements are not very smooth, and that's not acceptable, especially for such an expensive camcorder. And that's the reason why I didn't want to get the AX100. That's all for now. Hopefully it helps in making a decision in buying a new camera. If you make YouTube and home videos, this is one of the best camcorder you can get for the money. The next few video clips are the video samples from both the AX33 and AX53 camcorders.
But here comes the truck.
Faster.
That truck's now
Wow.
360, 365, 370.
Holy smokes, like a greased camel down the raceway where I'm from. That was fast, Rick Peterson. Did you see that? What a run.
373.9.
73.9.
He doesn't get a record here, but he...
Pretty close.
Oh, goodness, and you don't hug each other on that tape. That takes a while.
Maybe that's what... So what we're going to see right now is the shape. So the soloists gather in, but they're not going to form up just yet. The rejoin is a difficult thing to do. Formation...